Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on Daybreak. Let's start this segment by taking a look at the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. Well, the major story is a very sad one, talking about Boko Haram kills many farmers and others in fresh Yobe attack. Writers are talking about burned houses, shops, state government plans mass burial, insecurity disrupting agricultural activities. As this is according to northern governors. I don't think the northern governors need to say that. It's already really clear. You'll find that story on pages 4 and 6. Top of the page there, you'd see IGP Egbetokun gets 3-year tenure extension. Amidst the fuel scarcity, NNPCL to become sole buyer from Dangote refinery. That's according to report. Eredwa's mother dies at 102. May her soul rest in peace. Below the major story there, you see a pictorial of some arrested #end bad governance protesters remanded in Kuje prison after their arraignment at the Federal High Court in Abuja yesterday. Beside the pictorial there, we see Atiku Obi Kwankwaso to unite against Tinubu in 2024. That's according to the PDP. Presidency denies rift between Tinubu and Shetima. Nigeria has second highest rate of food insecurity in the world. That's according to Bill Gates. #end bad governance, lawyers, Amnesty International kick as court remands protesters in prison. It is abuse of power. Police declare British national wanted. Protest not treason. That's according to the Britain that replies the federal government. This one you'll find on page 4. Now, these are some of the stories that you find on the Daily Trust this morning.
All right, now moving over to Punch, where boldly there on the headline you have PDP governors Wike may clash as NWC meets on Wednesday. Now, NEC pressures NWC to hand over Rivers PDP to Fubara. PDP governors will address minister's threat at meeting, says Forum DG. Now, at the top left, from Dangote saying petrol will be exported if marketers boycott product, Dangote refinery. Hospitals, tertiary institutions, electricity subsidy may gulp 188 billion naira. And now over to NNPCL may stop petrol importation as depot price nears 1,000 naira per litre. There's this pending story on NNPCL that I would love us to talk about today as well. Now, hunger protest, Britain denies fleeing as court remands 10. This is on the hunger protest, #end bad governance protest that happened then. Now, CBN reports that external debt servicing rises to $2.7 billion. Still on the front page, arrested Canadian-based Nigerian woman threatening Yoruba risk 2-year jail term. And Tinubu meets Xi Jinping today, signs bilateral agreement. Well, these we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper today.
I hope that bilateral, relations and agreements would involve Nigerians going to China to learn some skills. That would benefit us more.
Okay.
But yeah, let's move on to the Guardian newspaper, where the major story is talking about seat at home, insecurity, and secessionist agitations deep the FDI trade in Southeast states. Major story there, you find out on page 6. Fuel scarcity, sack carry now, coalition demands. PDP says Wike not above party as disciplinary committee issues summons. The PDP woos Obi Kwankwaso as the CUPP rates Tinubu low. Demand for Dangote's PMS intensifies as petrol hits 1,000 naira per litre. Households lament may spend 54.9% income on food and shun investment. Tinubu, Buhari, Shetima, or Sibajo may decide Ganduje's fate. Oyedele committee awaits the federal government's approval on VAT increment. Now, these are the stories that you'd find on The Guardian.
All right, now moving on to the Nation newspaper. Right there we have treason. Police place 20 million naira bounty on Britain. NLC President Ajero for interrogation over a link with wine and Britain. Some suspects patronized my shop. Now moving still to the top left, Oyo to deploy 20 CNG buses given by the federal government. No, Sumaya, we spoke about this and we asked where are the CNG buses. So let's see. Oyo is to deploy it given by the federal government. So we hope we would see it on the streets real soon. Now, woman held in Canada for threatening to poison Nigerians. Up there in sports, Osimhen seals 1-year loan deal with With Gladseri, ex-president Yar'Adua's mom dies in Katsina at 102 years old. Now, investors in $500 million federal government bond to get allocation on Friday. You know, these and more, aside the fact that we have Edo Governorship 2024 rights boldly up there on the nation as well. People are looking forward to the election and people are asking questions on it. These are the stories we have on the front page of the Nation newspaper.
All right, and now joining us to review all of these front pages, we have Dr. Theophilus Abba. He's the Program Director of Daily Trust Foundation. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Always good to have you. All right, let's start by insecurity ravaging our country on a back-to-back level. We saw the Vice President Kashi Shettima talked about how Tinubu's administration is committed to securing Nigerians and properties. And also we saw the governors from the northern part of Nigeria coming out to say that they are doing all they could to fight and combat insecurity. And we saw the Minister for State for Defense also coming out, Matawale, talking about him being at the forefront to go and camp in Sokoto just to fight this incessant and recurring insecurity in the northern part of Nigeria. But with all of that, Boko Haram kills farmers, others in fresh attack just yesterday in Yobe State. What is your take in all of this and how the government are, reacting to this?
Okay, let me start by saying that it's quite unfortunate that this is happening because Boko Haram, killing farmers, they've done it over the years. But we know that the gesture that government has extended to them, some of them have taken advantage of it. For instance, talk about, reintegrating those who surrender, they get reintegrated, and they are giving training. Some of them are giving even some little allowances. You remember in Borno State, we have so many of them there to the point that some months ago, some of them protested because they didn't get the allowances.
Interesting.
So the government has actually extended the olive branch to them. And we expect that, by now, Boko Haram should realize that the government is even trying to see how they can persuade them to return, to the society, Now, what they have done now, going to villages to kill farmers and all this and another, it shows that our strategy is not actually working. Because we expect that by now, you see, Boko Haram should, let me use the word, have been brought to its knees. But this thing started in 2009, and over 10 years now, 12, 13 years, and this thing continues. So the strategy, to me, is not really working. And what we have advocated all these years has been that, look, you need to wet the rural communities with security. There has to be a security strategy to protect, the vulnerable rural communities. For instance, if you go to this village or this community where these things were done, you may discover that there were only maybe 10 or 15 policemen in the whole of that district. Now, 10 or 15 policemen cannot confront the Boko Haram. Then it is also time for us to say, okay, we depend on what farmers do to survive as a country. There's need for us to say, okay, how do we protect farmers? As long as...
All right. Doctor, we'll definitely get to dissect more on this, when it comes to insecurity and all of that. And this is something that really breaks our heart, the insecurity going on. Hopefully, honestly, we'll get back to this discussion and talk more on this. But let's take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll continue from this conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us on Daybreak. We still have Dr. Theophilus Abba, the Program Director of Daily Trust Foundation, dissecting the front pages of the national dailies. Doctor, thank you for still staying with us. So, talking about this insecurity now, linking it to what the northern governor said, which is insecurity is disrupting agricultural activities.
Yes.
And we're seeing Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, talking about how Nigeria has become the second highest rate of food insecurity in the world. What is your analysis of this?
Well, if you look at what the insecurity has cost Nigerians, you discover that most of the areas where we produce food have been taken over by Boko Haram. If you look at Borno State, we used to have the Baga, where we had that produced a lot of fish that we consume. Boko Haram is in charge of that area. If you go to part of Katsina State, where you have even the dam utilized for production of rice and millet and corn and all those things, that Boko Haram has overtaken that area. If you go to Niger State, where we produce a lot of yam, the area that yam is produced, Boko Haram has taken over that place. If you go to Kaduna, if you go to Zamfara, in fact, Zamfara is even a pathetic case because we depended on Zamfara for our, something like beans, even rice. Boko Haram has overtaken. So all the dams that was built, all of them built in the 80s, which beefed up our food production. All those belts, they are under the control of Boko Haram. Now, this, if you know, this is about the harvest time. At this time, many farmers are harvesting.
Yeah.
And Boko Haram is going to, the agrarian communities, killing them and maybe taking over their harvest.
They actually said they are harvesting their crops.
So they wait for farmers to, the little space they have to cultivate and tend their crop. Then when it mature, they go there, kill them and harvest. So you can imagine, Boko Haram is not just killing. Boko Haram is saying that, look, Nigerians must die of hunger. And if you look at it in the last few years, especially this year, I don't think I have, faced the kind of, I've seen the kind of hunger, that we have. I've seen this kind of hunger all the years I've lived. Because this is a year that somebody who is a worker, who earns salary, will call you and say, look, since last night, my children have not eaten anything. It's a common
it is a huge
complaint.
Concern.
And so, you see, yam, a tuber of yam, you are telling me it's 5,000.
It is.
Now the new yams are out. We thought that when the new yam comes, the thing will collapse. It didn't. You still buy it for about 3,000 or 3,500. So which means that we still have this issue of scarcity.
All right.
And it is caused by insecurity.
No, we know it's caused by insecurity. Talking about scarcity of food products, we also know that the cost of petrol also largely influences that. Currently, we're experiencing fuel scarcity. We're seeing the back and forth between the NNPCL and Dangote, saying that right there on the was amidst fuel scarcity, NNPCL to become sole buyer from Dangote refinery. And then we also saw the story on The Guardian talking about CNG buses being rolled out. What's your thought on all that is playing out in the petroleum sector and even the CNG buses that are meant to be rolled out to ease this on the people?
Okay, what's happening now actually goes back to what we have advocated over the years. That look, before you remove this subsidy, let us produce petroleum, let us refine petroleum locally. We have advocated this over and over again. If you look at it, if we buy petrol from Dangote, it means that some of the duties that we will pay, some of the freight charges that we will pay, the insurance that you pay, the premium that you pay for bringing products. Then some of the demurrage that you pay because of the delay in clearing that you will not pay. Then that will bring down the price of the pump price of petrol. And we are getting to that position now that we are going to depend on Dangote a whole lot. And I thank God that the NNPC is saying that this month, that is September, even the Port Harcourt refinery will also begin to dispense. So we are advocating over the years that look, for you to remove subsidy, first of all, let the local production. If the local production, we now know, we are buying it at 500, but then we don't expect it to jump, higher than that rate. You understand? So then if you talk about the CNG buses, we want them, to wet the whole place, not only Oyo State. Because you see, if you have CNG buses, many people will not be driving their cars. You don't have any reason to put your car on the road if you know that you can trek from your house to a particular bus stop, get the bus that will take you to where you are going to.
That's an affordable rate.
You'll be spending so much money. In many parts of the world, especially in the Europe or developed societies, people don't just drive cars. They enter train, or take buses. Even professors, they enter train or take buses. We have seen even ministers in government in Europe enter train. You understand? So, but here we burn fuel. You don't have this money. You need to buy fuel at a high rate. You have to burn it. You understand? So if we have the CNG buses, it will actually bring down the cost of
Doctor,
living.
I want to get your take on this sole buyer thing. There's been a controversy around it. One of our hopes as Nigerians was we'll be able to produce locally and still export, because we all know how the power of exportation comes with it. But an NNPC are tying Dangote, and obviously he has succumbed to that. What is your take? Do you think that's a wise decision of selling solely to the NNPC?
Okay, I think the issue is that we have Nigerians who have licenses to import petroleum products or to do business, in petroleum at the retail level. So you have many Nigerians who have these licenses, and so that is why you see at times you hear them complain that look, NNPC is the sole importer, because we are also supposed to import. But if you import on your own, how much are you going to sell it? So what we are hearing now is that instead of Dangote to sell these products to other Nigerians who have import licenses or licenses to sell petroleum products, NNPC is going to be the sole importer, but a sole buyer. But then it's not new, because under Buhari at a point, when they were doing what they call under recovery, NNPC was like sole importer. NNPC will import and then sell to other outlets. I think that's what they are trying to talk about. Now the issue has even been that look, some places are saying look, Dangote can refine, but which all should be allowed to import so that we compete. You understand? So but the issue is that if you import, at what rate are you going to buy? Are you going to sell to us? And if Dangote's product is lower, if the price is lower, how are you going to compete? How are you going to sell? Unless you do what we call antitrust, where all the people involved in the business will not say, okay, this is how much I'm going to sell it. Even if you bought it at a lower rate, you must sell it at this rate. Let us agree. That is totally antitrust, and it's not good for business.
All right. Now,
but what we know now that the NNPC may have to move up whatever Dangote is producing to sell in its outlets.
All right, quickly now before we go, the story on the front page of The Guardian: sit at home, insecurity, secessionist agitations, deep FDI trade in Southeast Nigeria. It's shocking that sit at home is still fully happening in the southeastern part of the country. What's your take on how far this is going and affecting the economic situation in the eastern part of the country, the southeast?
Now, if you look at almost all parts of Nigeria, you have insecurity. And they are of different types. The one in the south is what we call sit at home, over agitations, over Nnamdi Kanu, over IPOB, cries for, is it about marginalization or independence of the southeast or autonomy. So all those are happening. But then it's also a manifestation of insecurity, make it difficult to do business. Just like in the northeast now, we're talking about bandits going to farms, destroying farms, Boko Haram destroying farms, which is actually affecting the business, because agriculture is one of the mainstays of the. So it's true that
South is business.
Yes, so Southeast is business, and sit at home is actually affecting.
There is no time, and I want to get your take on a lot of things. With all of this insecurity happening, a lot of call has been made on changing of security service chiefs and heads and all of that. But then the president is choosing to extend the tenure of the IGP, Betokun, gets 3 more years. What do you think about that? Well,
it is his prerogative to decide who to work with. I think the Constitution gives him the powers to do that.
Why do people keep saying that? We know the Constitution gives him power, but what do Nigerians need? Shouldn't that be the most important thing right now?
Well, you see, the architecture, security architecture in Nigeria, I believe that we have not done the right thing, because we are supposed to wet many communities with policemen. If you know that the Northeast is under attack, we need more security men in the Northeast.
Okay.
If you know that any part of the country is under attack, but then we say we're going to recruit 10,000 policemen every year. In the last 4 or 5 years, we've not done it. You understand? So I don't know. That's why I say that I don't know why the president decided to say, okay, he should stay on. We have not seen any impressive, credential that he has. I've not seen any drastic change
that he has made.
That he has made. But if he says well, I want this man to continue as my IGP. There's nothing you can do about it.
Indeed. At the end of the day, though, we still have to hold the president accountable. He promised that if anybody is not really working, he's going to remove that person. But we'll have to wait and see what the IGP would bring more to change, this security narrative. Thank you so much, Dr. Theophilus Abba, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, that was Dr. Theophilus Abba, the Program Director of Daily Trust Foundation. Appreciate you all for staying through 2 hours with us to take a look at what is happening in our own nation. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Please do stick around. Top of the hour, Adeni Ajishafe will bring you 360 Sport. Do have a lovely Tuesday.
Thank you so much once again. My name is Lilian Ogazi, and have a great day ahead.